looking at one man. Well, round 7 of the FIA World Touring Car Championship in Hungary is going to be all about Norbert Mikulec and the 70,000 rabid Norby fans who are here. There are, of course, because this is a motor race, Ferrari hats and shirts as well. But Harry Volkart, the predominant colour here is not red, it is orange and black, the distinctive colours of Zengo Motorsport.
Yeah, it's all for Norbert, I think. I mean, it's everywhere you look, somebody's got orange and black on. There's loads of stands around the back. Everything is about Norbert Mikulec here.
The branding is really quite remarkable, and so is his stature here in Hungary. He is one of their biggest sporting stars, bar none. As successful and popular as any of their Olympic weightlifters or soccer players or anything else. Lots and lots of interest around his progress. And as a result, of course, the biggest crowd of the season for the World Touring Car Championship, because he brings people in, and the presence of Mikulec and of the Zengo team has really educated the country about the World Touring Car Championship, and it is one of the highlights of the calendar coming here. Of that there can be no question. And for these 2-litre touring cars, the Hungaroring is not the no overtaking zone that is for Formula 1 either, Harry. It's not easy, but it is definitely possible. We've had some good races here. Yeah, it's open for racing because there's obviously a lot of changes of direction. There's a lot of long radius corners, so there's a few options on the entry and the exit. It's a great racing circuit for touring cars. Ivan Muller starts on pole position. He is our championship leader, of course, and with 2 wins already this season, both at Monza, where he was the last time on pole position. He leads the championship by 26 points from Gabriele Tarquini, who is the second man in the standings. Well, he's only had 1 pole this season. That was at Monza. He spanked everybody in race 1 and in race 2. We're going to see the same thing here?
I don't think so. I think they're going to struggle. I think we're going to see the Chevrolets and the Hondas struggling a little bit with front tyre wear. Probably the Chevrolet more than the Honda due to the extra length from the wheelbase. And I think that they'll all be up there. It's just who's going to win is the question. And I think, personally, I think we could see a Honda up there. And I'm not sure whether it'll be Mikulec, Tarquini or Montero.
Well, the pictures from qualifying, Ivan being congratulated there by his dad, and it was a really massive lap, Ivan said, to get that pole position. Norbert Mikulec, Gabriele Tarquini and Thiago Montero line up 2nd, 3rd and 4th in the Hondas. Mikulec, of course, in the orange and black car, closest to the crowd, and then Tarquini and Montero in their Castrol Hondas. But it is Muller who will have the advantage of the inside line on the run down to the first corner, and that can't be underestimated, because if he can get in front, even with tyres going off, he's got a very good chance of holding everybody up.
Yeah, Muller can drive a car as double the width that it looks, and I'm sure he'd be able to hold even the likes of Tarquini up. But let's not forget Coronel as well, who's starting 5th, and we saw in morning warm-up this morning, when people generally do race runs, the BMWs were strong right till the very, very end, and very consistent as well. Just lap after lap, they were within a few tenths of what they previously achieved, and setting personal best times even to the last laps of the session.
Just noticed as it went past us, row 9 is an all Hong Kong Chinese row with Charles Eng and Daryl O'Young side by side. Mikko Kozlowski down towards the back, and Tom Boardman and René Munich on the final row of the grid. James Thompson just spoke to his engineer Marco a little earlier on. There's his Lada. Marco with his back to us there. Much happier. He said Tomo was on the radio on the outlap in turn 1 going, it's going round the corner, which was not something that it was wont to do in qualifying. So starts 16th, but let's hope he has a better race than qualifying.
After a record-breaking 44th win, Shaky Byrne is leading the pack as BSB heads to Alton Park for a bank holiday bonanza.
We're ready for action here, 20 laps ahead of them.
Oh, unbelievable! British Superbikes Alton Park, Bank Holiday Monday, 12:30 p.m, live on British Eurosport 2 HD.
The road to freedom. Japan quality. Yokohama. Your tire.
I'm gonna love you like nobody's loved you. Come rain or come shine. High as a mountain, and deep as a river. Come rain or come shine.
Embrace your past, but live for now. Now put your arm on this, 'cause I put it.
Tour de France winner, Olympic champion, national hero. 2012 was the year of Bradley Wiggins. Now, he sets his sights on the first Grand Tour of the year.
That is a remarkable piece of riding. Oh, Bradley, you're up against it now, boy.
The Giro d'Italia, from the 4th of May, live on British Eurosport HD.
Japan quality. Yokohama. Your tire.
Great view down onto the grid here in Hungary as we look at the car that lines up in 10th position, and that is Alex McDowell, and he will start race 2 then from pole position. Yokohama Trophy competitor, of course, with Bamboo Engineering, and so he'll be front and centre right at the start of race 2, the standing start, unfortunately, because he'll have a BMW alongside him. But still, after struggling at the beginning of the weekend, when it came to qualifying, actually both Bamboo cars really were right up at the sharp end where they had hoped to be.
Yeah, I was talking to the Bamboo guys after qualifying and asking why they turned around in form. And it all comes down to tyre usage. You know, they were struggling with damaged tyres and old tyres from previous events, which is why they were a little bit off the pace this morning in warm-up. So now they're on good rubber. I think we'll probably see them go, you know, at least stay where they are, if not go forward.
Well, Mehdi Banani, 9th on the grid for race 1, but 2nd on the grid for race 2. Standing start favours the BMW historically. It launches better from a standing start than the front-wheel drive cars, so he has got a good chance perhaps to lead race 2 rather. But just behind him in that second race of the afternoon will be the world champion Rob Huff, and having not got onto the podium so far this season, he will be very keen indeed to do so if he can.
There's an outsider. What do you think about Huffy for a podium for race 2?
Now, I've said he didn't get onto the podium. He did, didn't he? He was on the podium last week in the last race that we watched, actually. That was only a week ago. Duh. Yeah, no, I think he's got a good... I do think he's got a good chance, yeah, definitely.
And the set was fairly consistent tyre-wise this morning as well, so, yeah, I think that could be a smart move.
Well, James Nash, again, the quicker of the two Bamboo guys. He's leading the Yokohama Trophy points race as well at the moment, and 5th in the overall championship. So, again, showing that's indicative of what a good season he's been having so far. And, of course, new to the Chevy. So last year racing in the Ford Focus for Team Aon, this year in the Chevy, very different. So the stuff that you'd sort of learned about the Ford doesn't necessarily apply, and that can lead to a bit of confusion in the driver's mind when he's talking about engineering, but also when he's actually racing it, it doesn't do things that he's expecting, perhaps.
Yeah, you're exactly right. It does things a little bit differently, and by James's own admission, he's still learning the car, and, you know, he's doing a fantastic job so far. He's just had a little bit of bad luck, and, you know, I'm sure by the end of the season, he'll still be right up the front there.
Well, the same thing for Tom Chilton, of course. Again, James's teammate last year in the Aon Team Fords. This year, he's in the Aon Lukoil Chevrolet at RML. So, different team, but same car, and so he's got all the same things. Always good when a Jobsworth tries to send the camera off the grid 5 minutes early when it's live on TV. I bet he had no idea that he was being exposed in his Jobsworthiness. Tom Coronel now. This could be quite an entertaining weekend again for Coronel, because the BMW spreads the tyre load more evenly between front and rear wheels than a front-wheel drive car does. The front tyres on your Chevrolet, for instance, or your Honda, or your whatever else, will do everything, whereas the power is transmitted from the back of the BMW and only the steering and most of the braking effort from the front. So it tends to keep its tyres alive longer. The problem is they tend not to get hot quite so quick and don't come in so quick at the beginning of the race.
Tom's been fast all weekend too, and he's always exciting. He's a little bit crazy, I think, sometimes, but yeah, he's always exciting to watch. So yeah, let's keep our eyes peeled for him coming through from 5th.
And then the Castrol Hondas, of course, they were 1st and 2nd on the grid and in the race 1 a week ago in Slovakia. A massive achievement. In fact, Honda, of course, went 1, 2, 3 because Norbert Mikulits was 3rd in qualifying and in the race there. And if that didn't ratchet up another notch of Norby mania, I don't know what will. Gabriele Tarquini then 2nd in the championship, which again underlies just what a strong start to the season Honda has had. They've not had reliability problems. Both Tarquini and Montero crashed their cars on the streets of Marrakesh, but drivers do make errors. Fundamentally, though, the two are both very quick, and so is this Honda Civic. And after their win last week in Slovakia, the first for the programme, there's a lot of Honda bigwigs. And then listen, the volume just goes up from 10 up to 11 every time they even see Norbert Mikulits. And this has been a feature of coming here to Hungary, and one that every other driver just has to smile at, because this guy, he is, I think, probably at the moment Hungary's biggest sports star. He's, you know, like Beckham in his pomp or somebody, you know, is bigger than in Hungary than Ronaldo in Brazil or any other footballer probably that you can name. Just quite remarkable levels of adulation for Norbert Mikulits and for his team. It's an all-Hungarian team. Zoltán Zengo, who runs the team, is Hungarian. His engineer, David, is Hungarian. The engineering director and, in fact, the team manager are brothers, and they're all Hungarians as well. So it's a massive national flag-waving exercise, and lots of flags being waved. But the man who snatched pole away with what was a real top-draw effort in qualifying was Ivan Muller, and he does have the ability and the machinery, perhaps, to lead this all the way to the flag. But first, he has got to beat Norby Fever. Will he do so? There's only one way to find out.
Additives and motor oils made in Germany. Liqui Moly. Liqui Moly. Additives and motor oils made in Germany.
Japan quality. Yokohama. Your tire.
Get away early on. Cars on the grid, ready to head off on the final formation lap for round 7 of the 2013 FIA World Touring Car Championship. We're in the cauldron of Norby Fever. That is the Hungaroring, and it's hot as well. 25 degrees of air temperature, over 40 degrees of track temperature as Ivan Muller leads the field away, but the roars are because Norbert Mikulits is doing something. Of course, he's driving off the front row of the grid as well. Harry Folkard, a level of touring car driver adulation that the only other name I could think that could ever generate as a touring car driver that kind of crowd appreciation was the late great Peter Brock.
Yeah, or Nigel Mansell there, Donington in there.
Well, strictly not a touring car driver, yeah, but yes, no, that's exactly right. The Mansell mania of Formula One certainly followed him to his forays into touring cars, but
it is absolutely amazing. You kind of have to be here to appreciate the atmosphere. There's flags waving everywhere. Everybody's, you know, they're jumping up and down, they're starting chants, and they're even walking around the paddock chanting and stuff. It's kind of like football kind of atmosphere, but you're at a racing circuit.
It is. It's quite remarkable. So yes, so anybody who's been through that sort of mania, I mean, it's like the tifosi at Monza cheering Ferrari with an Italian driver. I mean, it would just be quite insane. And the levels of interest in the sport here are dramatic because of the Hungarian involvement. Well, James Nash, the leader of the Yokohama Trophy chase from Michel Nuka, just 5 points between them. Alex McDowell only 10 points off the lead, starts race 2 on pole position here on the grid. And Daryl Young lying behind them in 4th place in the Yokohama Trophy. There is Nash in one of the 2 Bamboo Engineering Chevys. So, I mean, Bamboo, their target obviously to try and win that and do as much winning as they can overall, but their drivers 1st and 3rd, only 10 points apart. That shows again that the team have really got a hold on these cars. There's Zoltan Zengo, the boss of Zengo Motorsport. Yeah, because this crowd really needs winding up. Incidentally, 2 doors down from us in the Hungary Eurosport commentary box, the Hungarian commentator is not just commentating to those who couldn't get a ticket and are watching live on Eurosport, he's also the track announcer, so his TV commentary is going out to the fans as well. So yeah, all sorts of geeing up of Hungarians going on here.
He was down in the pit lane yesterday and chanting to the crowd, and the crowd had just, you know, they just absolutely lapped it up. In a qualifying day here yesterday, there were so many people here, it felt like race day, and there was no racing at all.
There was 15 or 20,000 people in here for qualifying, and they were here early in the morning as well. We drove in just after 7 this morning, and the roads were already starting to get busy. By 8, they were absolutely packed. Of course, rolling starts to this first encounter. Ivan Muller in that red and white Chevy will be on the inside down to the first corner. There's Zoltan and Norby's girlfriend. Now that, you know, that must be being in a bizarre position. You know, here's this young guy that she's known for a few years, and when they come, when they go anywhere else, he's a driver at a track. When they come here, she's like posh. She's in the middle of this maelstrom of fever around Norby, and she probably almost doesn't see it while she's at the racetrack.
It's amazing, just before they start, it's amazing how he manages to focus all of this positive energy, and it doesn't go to his head, it doesn't freak him out or anything. He manages to turn it into a positive.
He really does.
Work it for him.
He really does. He works them and they work him. What about the magic? We've got 12 laps to the Hungaro ring in front of us. The cars will come through their grid positions. A couple of BMWs out of line. On the left of your screen in the heat haze is Ivan Muller. On the right is Norbert Mikulits. Rob Huff shows early on the right-hand side. James Nash on the left. Tarquini's got a good start. Norby is inching in front, but Muller is going way down the dirty inside. And Tarquini is going to be behind him. Mikulits is there. Huff is making it almost 3 wide for the lead. So you've got a Chevy, a Honda. Tarquini is in 3rd in the Honda. Huff up to 4th. Great starting from Rob Huff, and bits come off Tom Chilton and Thiago Monteiro. Coronel was tapped sideways further back. That is Oriola, Bart, and of course Daryl Young has not got rid of the bad luck magnet. Well, there was a double bumping there going on. Kozlowski has got a broken right rear upright. Safety car may come out. Ivan Muller pitches in the car, and it really gets sideways there. And McDowell in front of Nash. So James Nash definitely got held up in that kerfuffle as well.
Had a lot of rear smoke coming there. I don't know if it was a lock of the rear brakes or whether he's got picked up some damage in that, but there's certainly been a massive reshuffle of the order.
Nokia, the black and white car, trailing a bumper there as we see them coming into the chicane at turns 5 and 6. So it's Muller. Mikulits got ahead of Tarquini. No. Where? Did we see that? Let's have a look again at the leaders. There's Stefano D'Aste a little further back, 16th place. Mikulits did stay in front of Tarquini. Oh yes, because then Gabrielli dropped in behind him and just managed to hold off Rob Huff into 4th place. So that is your lead group. Yellow flags are out at the first corner, at corner 2 rather, on board with Norby. And it's nice and quiet below us now, but as soon as he comes down the pit straight, the wall of noise will precede him right below our commentary box. And now, this is a critical time for Ivan Muller, because he wants to get away and leave Norbert to fight off Gabrielli, but he doesn't want to use up his tyres doing so. Pepe Oriola and James Thompson. I thought it was Kozlowski. It was not. It was Tomo. I can't believe more misfortune, not of his own making. Muller leads, Mikulits, Tarquini, Huff, then Chilton. And once it settles down, massive lock-up left front puncture for Thiago. and into the barriers. No stopping. That's a steep downhill approach. Now, it doesn't look like the tyre is flat, so that's what it looks like, but the tyre didn't seem to be flat when he got to a halt.
I think that would have been a puncture, because he was certainly involved in that kerfuffle, and it's so easy to puncture a tyre, and just the way that it locked up that aggressively so early in the braking zone, I think it must be a puncture.
The moment he touched the brakes, he was just going straight off, wasn't he? And there was no way that was not happening. So if he was a rally driver, at the last moment he would have come off the brakes and tweaked the handbrake and got him backwards, but...
Coronel definitely got a big whack earlier on, but he seems to be, you know, his pace is quite good there, and he seems to be hanging on the other BMW, so... Yeah, it's a puncture. You can see the front left to drop. The attitude of the car, it's lower.
Yeah, unfortunately, and that is the end of the race for Thiago Monteiro. Be interesting to see the run down to corner 2 again once things quieten down, and see exactly why we lost Thompson and Oriola.
Doesn't look a happy boy.
No, he doesn't, does he? And in the pits is... Oh, that's Freddie Bart, isn't it? Yeah, right rear axle, I think, is busted there. He may have popped a drive shaft or something. And really good start for Mehdi Benani as well. Let's point out that's him in 6th place with Coronel inside him as Mehdi drifts out a little wide. Didn't hold the nose in tight enough.
That was a great bit of opportunistic overtaking.
Yeah. Now, actually, the way he tucked back in immediately made me think that actually he wanted Tom in front of him to go and do some door opening.
Yeah, maybe. I think Benani maybe have been watching his mirrors a little bit and just seemed to run a bit too deep, but it'll certainly not be a bad thing having Coronel pushing his way through.
No, not at all. That could be the best thing that happens to Benani's race, because Coronel will get on and get in amongst Chilton and Huff, who are right in front. A little further back, that is Marc Basseng ahead of Fernando Monche, and Hugo Vallant is in 13th place. In his Kia cars, Tarquini again locking a breakdown into turn 2 ahead of Huff and Chilton. Chilton lost the right side mirror, the passenger side mirror, on that run down to turn 2 where it all got a little tight. Ivan Muller leads in Hungary. It's lap 3 and he is 9/10 in front. Darrell Young's made it back to Roal Motorsport, but there will be work to do on the Chinese driver's car. So we've lost Oriola and Thompson on lap 1. Freddie Bart is in the garage. Monteiro we lost on lap 2. Darrell Young is in the garage as well. Rennie Munich on the tail of the field then as his teammate Rob Huff, the world champion, in that black and red All-Inkle Seat, holds off Tom Chilton. And actually the All-Inkle team doing a really solid job with that car, bearing in mind how antique some of those shells are, never mind the actual design itself. A team that's never driven front-wheel drive touring cars before, never engineered them. They've got that car going really well, and Huffy says there's still more refinement to find in it.
Yeah, it's a proper professional setup. It's, you know, they're doing a great job. I'm sure it'll only get faster, but this Coronel's, it looks like he's fancying a bit of a chance here.
Definitely.
He's all over the back of Chilton.
Well, of course, because Chilton can't get by Huffy. Tom keeps to the inside, Chilton that is, so Tom, Coronel that is, can take the wide line and look for the exit. Now he's got the drive off the corner, now he's in the slipstream of the Chevy that just is keeping out of harm's way, and Chilton paints himself down the white line. Tom Coronel flashes the headlights. I think that was to say, okay, come on, get back in line, don't do anything silly. He knew that wasn't happening.
Coronel's obviously going to be pushing the issue here because he's just pulled that gap on Benani. He doesn't want to get backed into it, and you'll be able to see that Chilton's dropping off the back of Huff as a result of defending against him, so he's going to try and do this as soon as possible, I think.
Now, Tom Chilton's going to do well to keep this in tight all the way through here. Coronel pushing hard. As they go up to the brow, let's see what Coronel has got. Drifts out wide, that's once. You're only allowed 3 times over onto the AstroTurf before they start to black and white flag you. If you do it again, it will be a drive-through penalty. You're allowed 2 wheels over the curb, beyond the curb, and no more, and only 3 times in the race.
You can really see the entry speed that BMW's able to carry into these long radius corners there. It's really closed in there. You obviously lost a little bit of time by running so far wide on the previous corner, but it's the back end, this sector 3, this is where the front wheel drive starts struggling, and this is where I think if it's going to happen.
Tom overdriving it, really threw it over the apex there, and that's massive curb on the inside, bounced him all over the place. Now he really is holding up Coronel, and Tom wants to get by. Tom Coronel wants to get by Tom Chilton. I mean, Chilton is not anywhere remotely approaching the racing line. Right front puncture for Tom Boardman, which is why he is in the garage.
Now Bernardi's getting back in the mix in this little scrap as well.
Well, Bernardi wants to be close to Coronel, not attacking him. Let Tom Coronel get on with this, but Bernardi wants to be right there so that the two BMWs go by as one. Once the door's open, Bernardi doesn't want it shutting before he gets in.
Let Coronel punch the hole, he can skip the lead.
Exactly. Well, Ivan Muller leading after 4 laps, and he's just set the fastest lap of the race, 1:55.8. 1:56.1 for Norbert Mikulits. The gap has gone out now to 1.2 seconds from the leader to the second place man. Tarquini third, Huff fourth. Let's look down into the first corner is not the interesting part. What we want to see is what happens on the exit of the first corner down into corner 2. Right at the very back of the shot. Here we go. So on board, looking back at Tarquini and Mikulits in corner 1. This is from Muller's camera. Then watch Chilton. Oh, this is late. We picked it up late.
It all went off behind. It looked like someone braked and somebody else didn't see it, and it all checked up.
Oh, Coronel was wide. He got forced wide. Chilton had already made contact with somebody. I'm not sure who. Okay, so who hits Nokia? Don't know whose camera this is. Oh, my word.
That was Daryl O'Young, I think. Daryl O'Young was on the inside.
Was that Tomo? No, it wasn't. You're right. That's Daryl, because Tomo didn't go any further, did he? Well, there is Thiago Monteiro out of the race. His misfortune, an early contact leading to puncture. Again, Tom Chilton defending with all he's got, but of course, when you're doing stuff like that, coming from way offline and still trying to get the car around the corner as fast as you can, you're working the tyres ever harder. He's actually making his own tyre wear worse.
He is. I think this is it's a matter of time, because the BM's just going to get stronger and stronger as Tom's car drops away.
Well, Chilton's last lap, 1:57.3. And Tom Coronel up the inside. Chilton has to drift wide. That's where Bernardi needed to be. Yes, the Moroccan driver was just close enough to scoot up the inside, and he got his braking right, didn't he? Coronel had to dive in, had to get his nose in the door, didn't he, in that gap, but as a result, he got in a bit deep. But luckily, they both avoided Chilton. So Tom Coronel up to 5th, Mehdi Bernardi up to 6th, Tom Chilton down to 7th place. Whoa, and he's coming back down the inside. Can he get it stopped? He can. Again, riding the curbs on the inside. Car 55 under investigation, Daryl O'Young. Well, do you know what? We needed to see the tape from further back to see where it all came from.
Yeah, it may well have been Daryl who checked up in the back of the car in front, but it was so hard to tell in those situations. It's just
everybody's trying to stop and everybody's going sideways. Mikulits pitches his Honda over the brow in 2nd. Coronel, Tarquini rather, in 3rd. Up in 4th ahead of Coronel and Bernardi. McDowell and Nash 8th and 9th for Bamboo Engineering. But it is Bernardi at the moment who's the leading Yokohama Trophy driver, so he's leading the class, and 6th overall, the Moroccan driver in that BMW just there.
This is one of the strongest runs Bernardi's had in a while as well. He's doing well, and let's not forget he came from 12th from the grid.
Yeah, no, I mean, really strong start from Bernardi, and obviously some gaps closed for some, they opened up for others. Looking back from Tarquini to Huff. Now, whose tyres are going to give up first? My money is on the Honda lasting longer than the Seat at the moment, I think.
Yeah, I would agree with that, I think.
But
the Seat was very consistent this morning, so time will tell. But you can see that the back end of that Honda, we discussed it in qualifying yesterday, you can see it's really moving around and it's skipping about, which is obviously going to work the front tyres a lot less. So
beginning of this lap, they were 1.2 seconds behind Huff. Coronel was. That's not 1.2 seconds.
No.
That's getting down to 0.2 seconds. That's how much quicker the BMWs are going now they've got by Chilton.
And Bernardi's also pulled on a bit as well. So
Bernardi is right with them. So again, again, look, Coronel is now within a lap. He's gone from 1.2 seconds back to 0.29 back, exactly as I thought, right behind Rob Huff and primed to make a move. And of course, that will start to take a little bit of pressure off Tarquini if Huff pays any attention to Coronel, which he's not. He is still attacking, which is always, Harry, the best form of defence. And Tarquini there, moving over left of line where Huff wasn't, because Tarquini is defending.
These three guys have been in the championship for like forever as well.
100
so
race club, yeah, all of them.
Yeah, they're all good muckers together. So that I'm sure we're going to see some pretty clean, exciting racing here. But
yeah,
let's hope it doesn't get any more controversial than that.
Well, it's always good when the fastest car is at the back of a little queue, isn't it? Because things start to liven up. Car number 15 under investigation, Tom Coronel, for, I'm assuming, lap 1. Coronel backs out of that one in a hurry, doesn't he, as Rob came to close the door. And again, you see those big sausages inside the curbs. Lots of air for Huff, and Coronel is all over him. We are halfway through the race. 6 laps completed. This is 7 of 12. Pushy, pushy, pushy.
This could also, if this keeps backing up a little bit, this could bring Tom Chilton back into this little battle as well, because he hasn't dropped that far behind.
He hasn't. His lap time still in the 157.5 range compared to 156.5 for Coronel. But Coronel is now away, right up behind us as we sit on Rob Huff's boot lid and watch the BMW just relentlessly claw his way inside. And a little touch there as Rob gets the door shut. But how many more laps will he be able to tighten the line on the Seat like that?
Watch the BMW off the exit of the corner. It just seems to be able to tighten it up just as he's getting on throttle. It's turning the car in where the front wheel drive's going wide, and that's where he'll get him, I think.
That's the understeer switch on the front wheel drive car again. Look at the Seat go away. That Orica built engine that they're using is not a slow piggy at all. And it's given Tarquini a little bit of respite. Not much. They're not far away enough behind him that he can just entirely concentrate on his line, but at least he's not having to defend. Muller still leads. It's still only 1.02 seconds over Mikulits. And if, and I'm saying if, the Chevy's tyres go off quicker than the Hondas, Mikulits might yet bring the crowd to an almighty climax at the end of this lap.
Mikulits and Muller are pretty much lapping identically at the moment, but there's still a long way to go in this race.
Great chance to ride on board with Tom Coronel, see what he sees, see the gaps he's looking for, and Huff knows where they all are. They all know where they all are here. You know, there's no Muppets in this battle, is there? Tarquini, Huff, Coronel, they're all very intimately aware what they're doing, and they'll know their own car's strengths and weaknesses, and possibly some of the other cars as well. Don't forget, Coronel raced a Seat before he raced the BMWs, and Huff, well, he knows what the Chevy can do behind if it catches them Chilton, but at the moment...
Tarquini with the Seat as well, obviously. He served his apprenticeship in.
Absolutely. Oh, and again, behind, you saw Coronel's BMW move over hard to the right. Not to block the bit. I mean, Banani's best plan, absolutely, Harry, is just to sit and wait for Tom to get the door open again and scoot through. I mean, it was what I suggested he might be wanting to do. It worked once. There's absolutely no reason it won't work again.
Yeah, here we go. He might be able to get the cut back here.
Well, Tom was looking to turn in very tight there and realised that, in fact, he was gone too quick and they had still an overlap with Rob Huff and didn't want to tap him on the outside.
Look at you, right. Like you pointed out, the straight line speed difference down in the straight line. But
oh, there goes Banani.
Yeah, he must have got a bad run there.
Well, he had to unwind the steering midway through the corner, so didn't get the greatest exit, because once you compromise the apex, you're all over the place on the exit. Banani's right with him, and that's great for them, because that means they will instantly close up on the Seat in front.
Banani will, he'd be wise not to attack Coronel too much, because like I said, he's going to create an opportunity for him.
Stick with him, let Tom do the donkey work. Now then, gap of the lead has come down by 0.2 of a second. Last time round, Muller 156.5, Mikulits 156.3, so he is closing down Ivan Muller with 4 to go. He is making sure that Ivan is going to be closer if his tyres happen to go off. And of course, the way to make Ivan's tyres go off is to make him drive harder than he really wants to. And that's what Coronel is trying to do with Huff as well. Oh, Tom, you saw the tail slide out there. Huffy having to dab the brake there in the left-hander.
It gets very difficult in these situations as well because you can't see where you want to put the car, so sometimes end up getting...
Great stuff, really tense racing from Huff and Coronel. Bernani right there to take advantage. Chilton might creep up, but Tarquini, this is blessed relief for him, because this is now not the battle for third that it was, Tarquini holding off Huff. It's now a battle for fourth, and Tarquini looks like he might just escape here, as Huff is fighting with all he's got again. Tom gives him a little push through the corner.
Rob will probably just be backing the car up slightly in the middle of the corner because he knows that's where the BM's going to be strong. So
absolutely,
these little nudges are probably a little bit of a result of both of them. But
yeah. Well, the BMW carries speed in that the front-wheel drive car can't, because it turns in with more alacrity than the Seat. But then the mid-corner to exit is where the Seat is just as strong. Bernani now defending from Chilton, who has closed in on the back of this group, obviously given his tyres a couple of laps of a breather. And he is now back on the attack. McDowell 8th, Nash 9th, Nukia 10th, Chevy. And Ivan was saying this was a good racetrack for Chevrolet last year. He got pole, he got victory, and in fact, in previous years, the Chevys have always gone well here. And the question is, can Ivan Muller stay in front? The gap has come down on the last lap from 0.9 to 0.68 seconds. Mikulits, unseen by the cameras, is reeling in the leader. What's Muller got left? This is lap 10 of 12. 2 to go after this. Again, Coronel looking for the cutback. Can't go around the outside. Huff is doing exactly what he needs to do, being in the way. Oh, and Tom chasing the throttle so early there, the car was mid-air.
That was a big old slide, that. Obviously, these BMs can kill their rear tyres as well by doing things like that, but that's what I was saying before. When you're this close in, you can't really see where you need to be getting on throttle. You see the car ahead going.
Well, and of course, he's aggressively chasing the throttle, isn't he? He wants to get even earlier on the throttle than normally you might. Now, can he go the long way round here? Can he force Huff offline, make the Seat drift wide, wheel to wheel as they turn in? Great stuff from Coronel and Huff, clean as you like, but Tom's lost a place there to Bernani and has to defend hard, checks up, and it's 1, 2, 3 cars in about 2 car lengths there. There was no air between Coronel and Bernani at all. Mikulits is coming across the line, right on Muller's tail, 0.4 of a second, first to second. We are going to have to watch the leaders at some stage. Norby has been keeping his powder dry, I think, is looking maybe at a last lap lunge. And maybe Coronel is going to have to as well, because Bernani, is he going to get by Huff instead? Oh. Whoa, Bernani has a big lock-up. Great stuff. Tarquini is the beneficiary of all of this battling, of course, because he is creeping away slowly. Car 19 being warned about respecting the track limits. That's Fernando Monche. He's in the middle of a pretty ferocious battle with Charles Eng, who is 2 tenths behind him as they cross the line, which is about the gap between Bernani and Coronel at the moment.
Coronel would be absolutely gutted about that. It was a bit of an optimistic move, I think we'll call it, try to go around the outside there, but you know, he's lost a place for it, but he's obviously desperate to get back through. But
yeah, but I mean, you know, he's racing, and you've got to attack. You can't just sit there and hope the guy in front gives it to you. You've got to attack, and sometimes when you do, you know, again, he was really forcing the issue with Huff, really piling the pressure on the world champion, and in the end, it didn't quite work out. Back with our leaders then, that's Ivan Muller in front of us, the race 1 winner last year, and if I'm not mistaken, the year before as well. I can't quite remember which of the Chevrolets won then, but Mikulits is right with him. Just half a second here. Of course, Ivan, having not been under pressure for 10 laps, may just have enough to stay away from Norby on the final circuit here at Hungaroring. Huff, Bernani, you can barely see Bernani because Coronel is so close, and he runs into the back of him under braking. Bernani got more under braking than Coronel wanted to, and Huff escapes, and that, I think, has let Huff off the leash as well, or off the hook rather. Last lap, across the line we go.
Oh, we're going to see a lunge from Coronel? That's the question.
Are we going to see a lunge from Mikulec? Muller is making sure he's out of harm's reach, 6/10 in front. So in the DRS zone, if there was one, but not within shooting distance of Norbert Mikulec. Tarquini third, he's clear. Huff in fourth. I think he's clear and safe now as well. It's now about Bernani, Coronel, and maybe Tom Chilton. Now, can Tom Coronel get by Mehdi Bernani for 5th position? After spending most of the race trying to get by Rob Huff. Here's your race leader, Ivan Muller. Up to the brow at turn 3 and 4. Through he comes. And on board with Norbert Mikulec right behind. Really pushing the Chevrolet hard. Really pushing the 3-time world champion with everything he's got. And there is why. 70,000 good reasons. There's the team boss, Zoltan Zengo, and Gabor Weber in the background there in the coloured shirt, last year's teammate. And they are planning to run 2 cars for Zengo, for Norby and for Gabor next year in their Honda program. Well, last couple of corners for Ivan Muller, I'm sure won't come soon enough. He was so thrilled with pole position here. He's going to be very, very happy indeed with what looks like it's going to be his 3rd race win of the season. The only man to have won more than once. After Monza, we had 4 different winners from the last 4 races. But Ivan is going to make it a 3rd win in the season. Out to the final corner he comes. The crescendo of noise is not quite what would greet Norbert Mikulec were he on his own at the checkered flag. It's victory for Muller. It's celebrated as a 2nd position for Norbert Mikulec. And 3rd will be Gabriele Tarquini. Tarquini 3rd, and on the podium again in the Honda, Huff, and then Bernani, then Coronel, then Chilton as they cross the line. Bernani winning the Yokohama Trophy, and behind him, behind them, 2nd and 3rd in the Yokohama standings, but Dow and Nash with Nokia behind them. Thank you indeed, Zoltan Zengo. Well, he has done as much as anybody to popularise World Touring Car Championship racing in Hungary, courtesy of having an all-Hungarian team and this Hungarian prodigy in Norbert Mikulec. In fact, it was Gabor Weber who was responsible for introducing the two. Norby was an online gaming racing champion. Gabor Weber suggested to Zoltan Zengo, with whom he was then driving, why don't you give this kid a go, give him a run out in something. So they put him in a Clio Cup car, and it seems apparently that he was as good with a real steering wheel as with a digital one. And from there, well, the story just continued.
What a great drive he's driven, absolutely spotlessly. You know, been faster than Tarquini in the same kid, but in a works car, and he just kept his nose down the whole way.
Yep.
And kept Muller honest, right to the check flag.
Made him really work for him, didn't he? Yes, he did.
Japan quality. Yokohama. Your tire.
Additives and motor oils made in Germany. Liqui Moly. The road to freedom. Japan quality. Yokohama. Your tire.
In life and sport, dealing with the challenges ahead requires focus, concentration, and a will to succeed. The International University Sports Federation promotes sports values in tune with the academic spirit. Thousands of student athletes from around the world participate in FISU's world-class sport competitions. Today's stars, tomorrow's leaders.
Liqui Moly. Additives and motor oils made in Germany.
Japan quality. Yokohama. Your tire.
Down into Parc Fermé comes our race 1 winner, Ivan Muller. Norbert Mikulicz took 2nd spot, and in 3rd place, Gabriele Tarquini. And Harry Volkart, you're absolutely right in what you said about Mikulicz. Not only did he keep Muller honest, but he was the best of the Hondas. And when you've got a former world champion like Gabriele Tarquini in the car right behind you, the man who has done so much development work on the car, to drive away from him, never mind keep him behind you, to drive away and leave him for dead in pursuit of the leader, that shows just what a good job Mikulicz did.
Yeah, and when we look at the lap times again, like we were saying yesterday in qualifying, they're a 2nd faster than they were last year, just due to the development of the Honda and the continuing development from the Chevrolet. Yeah. And it's you know, it's a great team. It's a new car team as well, and obviously he's driven rear-wheel drive for the last 2 seasons, and yeah, he drove a Seat before that, but still, that's absolutely, it's great to see Norbert up there, and you know, especially at his home circuit. And
especially given how much bad luck they've had from the start of the season with that car. The car arrived very late. They decided not to run a 2-car program because they were desperate to get 1 car to work properly. And yeah, they fully deserve everything. You know, like everybody else in the paddock, they work extraordinarily hard on improving the breed. And Norby, stand by for the cheers as he steps out, because they are watching this on a series of Diamond Vision screens, huge screens down the pit lane and in front of all the grandstands. Norbert with a brand new helmet design this season, echoed by a number of motorcycle helmets, incidentally, I've seen in the paddock. And you know, he's so unfazed by this. That's perhaps the most remarkable thing, not the adulation, but the fact that he just goes, yeah, lovely, nice to see you too. And, you know, he's just a normal mid-20s guy who's completely normal and unfazed by any of the adulation around him. Well, let's hear now from our race winner. Ben Constant-Duras is with Ivan Muller.
We didn't see much of him on screen, but Ivan Muller holding the lead throughout the race from start to finish. Ivan, with the gap with Norbert was less than a second throughout the race. How hard was it for you?
Yeah, at the beginning my car was good. I could do a small gap until 1.2, 1.3 seconds. And then he came back. I knew on the end of the race he will be fast. So I didn't stress. I stay focused on my tires. And then on the end, I did a gap again. So, but he gave me a hard time.
The temperature seems to have got hotter and hotter. Is managing the tires a tricky thing for the front-wheel drive?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, compared to the warm-up, the track is 25 degrees higher. So we have to manage it, but it's the same for everyone.
Thank you very much, Ivan. Congratulations. And we do have the independent victor, the Yokohama Trophy victor, in a rear-wheel drive BMW. Mehdi, that was a fantastic battle with the guys in sort of 4th or 5th position overall.
Yes, for sure. Victory in independent is something very great for us. And the fastest in BMW is something unbelievable, because we have Pro Team Racing do a great job, and I have to thanks for everybody. Lots my partnership, because they believe in me, and I will try to give them my best to tell them that we can be on the best constructor and we can win World Championship.
Yeah, you win the Yokohama Trophy for this race, but you start on the front row of the grid for race 2. Is it possible for a win overall?
I don't know. I will do my best. You have seen I was 100% all the race. I will do my best. If I can win overall, is something dream.
Thanks very much.
Thanks.
I tell you what, if he could somehow get to do that, that would make up for some of the disappointment of Morocco, wouldn't it, of Marrakesh. What a really strong race from Mehdi Benani. And now in the BMW, I think this year, starting to show the form that he produced when he first arrived in the championship in the front-wheel drive Seat. It's taken him a couple of years to really get a hang of the BMW, but I think he's now feeling quite comfortable with it. And Harry Volkart, there's nothing more important than feeling that you know what the car is going to do.
Yeah, that's with all these guys, the guys at the top and the sharp end of the grid. They know these cars inside out. They know how to look after the tyres. You know, they know where they can push. They know where they don't need to push. And that's what makes the difference between just being quick over one lap or being quick over a race distance.
Well, that is Mehdi's first Yokohama Trophy victory this season. So that adds him to the list of winners in the category. Alex McDowell, Michel Nukia, James Nash twice, Nukia twice, McDowell twice. So in fact, they've kind of been rather greedily hogging it all between them. Meanwhile, here is the man of the moment, no question at all.
There's Tarquini saying, you're not allowed to drive away from me.
It's just insanity, isn't it? You know? Especially for the Honda guys who are here for the first time. I mean, I'm not quite sure what the men from Honda Japan and Honda R&D make of all this. They probably think it happens everywhere for somebody.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, it happens here all the time. I mean, yeah, every surface you look, there is, as you said, orange and black, the Zengo colours, and it's just remarkably joyful and ebullient crowd here. There's absolutely no malice towards anybody else. It's just adulation for Norby. Well, good result from Tom Chilton, puts him back up to third in the championship. Coronel jumps ahead of Oriola and Nash. Pepe didn't finish here, so he drops 2 spots. James Nash effectively drops 1, but really stays where he was. Norby now up into the top 10 in points, but 106 behind, and that is an indicator of what sort of a season he's had so far. James Thompson, 1 point, and that's an indicator there exactly of the sort of season he has had so far, getting clattered out on corner 2 when finally the car worked. But yeah, that's the way his luck's been going. RML team manager Stuart Cowie applauding as Ivan Muller comes to the top step of the podium. 70,000 Hungarians applauding as Norbert Michelisz comes to second spot. Tarquini joins him in third, and Yokohama Trophy winner in 5th place overall. Mehdi Benani also on the podium, his first this season. And for the winning constructor, the American anthem for Chevrolet. In the white RML shirt there, Chris Cronin, who is Ivan Muller's car engineer. Could have had a shave this morning, Chris. I know we're up early, but, you know, race day and all that. And with Ivan starting on pole, he might perhaps have guessed he'd end up on the podium. Gabriele Tarquini takes the trophy for 3rd place. Go on, Benz, milking the crowd. You only have to say the name and 70,000 people roar in response.
You can see flags waving around all over in front of the commentary box.
Yeah, absolutely. Got a dry seat in the place. And our race winner is Ivan Muller. 3rd win of the season. This is only round 7. And the wins in the other 4 races spread among 4 different drivers. And that, of course, all helps Muller because he's relentlessly racking up points. He has not been off the podium yet. 3 wins, 2 seconds, 2 thirds. Not having a bad season by anybody's standards. Alessandro Mariani, the boss of Yas Sport. Chris Cronin has the Constructors' Trophy.
Of Yokohama, Hungary, presents the Yokohama Trophy to the winner, Mehdi Benani.
Chris, over the years, Norbert has also competed in the Yokohama Trophy. There's Mehdi's mum, also a racing driver. His dad raced before as well. It's very much a family affair. A couple of spare seats there. They must have slipped out to get a drink before the second race gets underway. I'll tell you what, if there's even the remotest chance of Norbert being on track, nobody is going to be going to the concession stalls behind the grandstands here. They cheer the garage door opening, Harry. They cheer team members walking around. They cheer any pictures of Norby appearing on the screen. They're a very excitable bunch, aren't they?
It's a great atmosphere, isn't it? It's a shame it doesn't happen in more motorsport events around the world, really.
Well, you know, and people constantly say, well, how come it is so big here? And it is because he is such a huge figure in what is a very tiny motorsporting world in Hungary. Yokohama Trophy, James Nash still leading. Michel Nukia closes to 6 points. McDowell 8 points behind. He outscored James this time, so the gap comes down from 10 to 8. Mehdi up into 4th place in the group. And Hugo Valente ahead of René Munich and Tom Boardman on 1 race so far this season. Again, underlining what sort of chaos and confusion, bad luck has brought to the Boardman and STR camp. And René Munich has not exactly been covered in good luck either this season. He seems to have had the worst of all fortunes in that SEAT team.
Tom had 3 engine changes at the last round, didn't he?
Yeah. Well, he came with a new engine in and then had 3 more new ones put in. And in the course of a 2-day race weekend, and that was before any of the races even started, yeah, that just, yeah, you know, you just don't want to have luck like that going. And consoling yourself with the fact that it can't go on forever is no consolation whatsoever. No. As you see.
Yeah, and it was obviously it all stemmed from that massive accident that he had at Morocco, which again wasn't his fault. It was a brake line breaking loose on the car, and all of a sudden he hit the brake pedal into a fast corner, and there's nothing there, so head on into the wall.
Everybody heading off out the sunshine to go and get lunch as we get ready for race 2 coming up shortly.